very privileged here today to have this exclusive interview with two of Australia's great golfing icons. David Mercer from Killara Golf Club, head professional for some 40 years plus, and his good mate Nagle, of course the British Open Centenary winner, and amongst many other national titles. Welcome, gentlemen, and thanks for being here.
Nice to be here, Phil.
So Dave, I'll start with you if I may. You and Kel have formed a wonderful friendship over the years. It must be very pleasing to have seen his career evolve throughout that time. You must have some fond memories that you could share with us.
I certainly have. When Kel became professional at pinball in 1950, I think it was 51, I became professional at Killara in 1953. And from that point on, we did a little bit of fishing together, and we went to the races a few times. We played a bit of golf together, so it's been a wonderful association.
Fantastic. And Dave, just another question for you. I know it's been said that Kel was one of the great putters of his day, and I'd like your take on this.
Well, I'd have to concede that he's one of the great putters of all time. But I had my own special little theory on this. I felt most of the good putters in my time were also good short iron players. They put the ball so close to the flag, they never really had long putts to get. So the number of putts per round was always low, but not because they were sinking 30 footers, but because their approaching iron shots were so close to the flag. And Kel, in my opinion, was one of the best short iron players in my 50 years of playing golf. He set up good putting with good iron play. And another interesting fact, over the 50 years I watched him practice, I don't think I've seen him hit more than half a dozen wood shots. It's always been in a 7 iron, 8 iron, 9 iron. He practiced the things that made the money. And he was a great putter, but he's also a great short iron player.
That Killara had a couple of nice little practice screens down there, and I used to go out late in the evening, and I used to, hit little 8 irons, 6 irons, 7 irons, and that sort of stuff up towards that, and get in the bunker and spend an hour or so in the bunker, and then chip and putt. But I wasn't always a good putter. Early years, I developed a better putter when I got that little light bullseye in 1954. And I used that right throughout my career, except probably a week with a Ray Cook and a week with a Ping. And I sent it across to St Andrews, and it's in the museum at St Andrews with my driver. So. Fantastic. But from probably 1959 through 1965, I had a period there where the nervous system was good, and I didn't feel like I'd missed the short putts. I did, of course, and I did hole a few long ones. At St Andrews, the first round on the 17th, I got on the front edge of the green, just below the hump. There's a big ridge there. I come up short, and I've got about a 60-foot putt, and I'm just trying to get down in 2, and I gave it a whack, and it sort of went up over the hill and kept on going, popped in the hole. So I opened up with 69. So, but I've had, but probably my best distance was from about 6-8 feet in. Right. It was great.
And Dave, getting back to the short irons, I remember as a kid watching Kel practice. The standout for me was his rhythm. It was just unbelievable, and it was the same all the time. So, and I think you'd agree that great ball strikers have that same rhythm every time they wake up.
Well, we just recently discussed this about Kel's game, and he was one of the players who never started from a cold start. His putting, he always putted to like numbers, 1, 2, lift the putter up, and it was always on the move. And when he was driving, it used to intrigue me. He'd address the ball and then push the club out, and he'd be on the move as he hit it. And I think Kel was able to play to a system. He had this sort of mind where he could control a system and stuck to it right throughout.
And Kel, I've read in the history books of the many career wins you've had. Apart from the British Open win at St Andrews, are there any other fond memories you have of victories from other parts of the world that you could share with us?
The following year I won the French Open, and I won the Irish Hospitals tournament, which is the Open Championship now at a golf course called Woodbrook out of Dublin.
And I think you've told me before, Dave, that there are still records that stand.
I don't think they'll ever be beaten.
Yeah.
I shot
what year was
260 there,
260.
and I shot 260 around Hong Kong.
Wow.
We played two courses in Hong Kong, the old and the new. I think it's all changed a bit now, but we played 36 holes on one and 36 on the other. And there was a thing that I've never done really, but I was playing with Pete, and there was they had 5 par 3s, and they had 5 par 5s, and it was 72 par, see? So, and I birdied a lot.
Really?
So I said to Pete, after I got the first 2 birdies on the second and the 2 birdies on the first of the par 3s, I said to him, geez, Pete, I never had 3 twos in a row, see? Put it up there about 20 feet and knocked it in. And we got on to the next par 3 and I said, Pete, I never had 4 in a row. He's muttering and going crook. You know? Anyway, I held it, and then we came to the 17th, and I said, well, Pete, look, I never had 5 twos in a round. And I hit it about 3 foot from the hole and made 2. Got on the last, had about a 20-footer, just a few 61 or something, or no, 59, and I 3-putted. He said, serves you right.
Is that right? So, Kel, what can you tell us about that historic centenary British Open victory in 1960?
Thompson and I were, after I won the Open in '59 at the Australian Golf Club, and then Pete and I were, the next year we were picked to go and play in the World Cup at Port Marnock. And on the way across, we went across to the US, and we played at Colonial National Course. Yeah. And my irons weren't working too good, and Bobby McAllister, a young pro over there, he said, Kel, I got a spare set of Spaldings in the boot, would you like to try? And I just said to you, I'll give them a go. And I played well in the Pro-Am, and then I finished up, I'm playing with Hogan, and I shot 65, hole in one at the 14th, he said, good shot. And Boris finished up beating me a shot. Well, I said to Bobby McAllister, I said, Bob, can I take these clubs across to England for the Open? He says, yes, good, go ahead. So we played at Port Marnock, and Thompson, Pete and I, we finished 3rd. And he said to me, these are exact words, he said, geez, he said, you're playing well. He said, you're driving well, you're putting well, the short irons are good. He said, I think you can win the Open. And I said, I'm 100 to 1. No, he says, I know the course, and mind you, there's a fella that, he was one of the favourites to win the tournament. We practiced together for 2 or 3 rounds, and that's just how it worked out. Mm. So, you know.
And what a place to win it.
We've been great friends really since 1954, because we won the Canada Cup in those days in Canada. In the Open itself, at St Andrews, I shot 69 the first day and Roberto shot 67. And then the second round, Roberto shot another 67 and I shot 67, so I'm 2 behind. We're drawn to play the last 36 holes together. Anyway, we start off, and if Roberto had to hold the short putts in the first 9 holes, he probably would have won the tournament. He missed about under 4 feet for birdies. And I had 71, I think would have had about 75. Well, I've got about a 12-footer on the last green and the heavens opened. And the green, there was water all over the greens. I really should have chipped it. But I made 4 and shot 71. And a lot of the morning players were already out on the afternoon round. But you couldn't play at St Andrews. It was like a waterfall coming down over the steps. The Valley of Sin was full. All the bunkers were full. So they called the 4th round off, and we played again the next day. And it all got back to about, with the 4 holes to go, Arnold's making the charge. I was 4 shots in front, and at St Andrews you can see what the other guys were doing, you know. He made 3 at the 15th and I 3-putted and made 5. I saw him get 4 at the 16th and I got 4. And he got 4 off the road at the 17th. And I put I got on the green on the front edge. I didn't want to go over on the road, and I putted down about 8 feet short. And I waited for Arnold. You could, on the 18th green, he was ready to go. So I thought I'd better wait and see what happens. The roar went up and he held this about 12 feet. And it meant that I made this 8-foot putt. If I didn't hold this, I had to make 3 at the last to win. Wow. So it was probably one of the best putts I hit. Never looked like missing. And I had to make 4 at the last. And I pitched into about 3.5 feet and 2-putted it, but it sort of lipped out and went round about a foot past, and I walked round, whacked it in and went in pretty hard. I could hear Henry Longhair say up on the box, up on the tower, he said, "Oh, be careful, be careful." But when I got back home, I saw a bit of it on the TV. The shit really rattled in, but I never thought of missing it. But you know, it just how it worked out. So I've had a great life in that respect. You know, been a lot of sadness in other respects, but sure, that's been great. Met a lot of nice people, travelled the world. There's not many places that I hadn't played. You know, went down to South America and played in Spain. Funny, I knew it was at Spain where Thompson and I were playing in the Canada Cup there, the World Cup. And Pete heard him, somewhere or other, he heard himself practicing ribs. And he said, "Oh, mate, I don't think we can play today." He said, "But we'll see how we go." So he went down the first and he's in a lot of pain. And they'd called a doctor, ambulance, a couple of nurses. Pete lifted up his shirt on the back of the green. They stuck a big needle in his ribs. And but teed off on the next one, but he sort of topped it along the ground. He couldn't play, so I marked the cards from there in.
I just wanted to finish with one more question for you, Kel. I remember as a young kid watching you hit the small ball with the persimmon driver. Well, these days everybody seems to be hitting at massive distances with these new trampoline-faced drivers. Just be interested to get your opinion on the modern-day club and golf ball.
I think the big drivers made poor drivers better drivers. There's more room for error, you know, like on the club face. But there's no doubt about it. The ball is increased. They've been talking for Jack Nicklaus for years. They've been talking about taking 10% off the ball, you know. But the majority of people love when they go out on a golf course, the gallery, they love to see that ball going for miles, so I don't know whether they'll ever do that.
So Dave, Kel, thank you very much for being with us. It's been an honour to talk to you both and sit here with this wonderful claret jug. And it's been very interesting hearing about both your lives, and thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, pleasure.
Thanks a lot, Kel.
Pleasure.
Thanks, Dave.
Pleasure.
Great.
And David?
Pleasure, Kel.
So it's been very special to sit here with Kel and David and be a part of this interview and hold the claret jug, something I'll never do again. So I hope your viewers enjoy the session as much as I have. Thank you.